Ksharam Hrivi Nirantaram Bhasati Swayam Likyate Katham Hridaya Kuhara Madhye Kevalam Brahmamatram Yaham Maham Iti Sakshat Atmarupena Bhati Hrudi Vishamanasa Swam Chinvata Majjata Pavana Chalanaro Atmanishto Deham Ranmayamachadaatmakam Aham Buddhirnatasyastyatho Naham Tattata Bhavashukti Samai Siddhatma Saddha Koham Bhavayuta Kuto Varadhiya Drishtatmanishtatmana Soham Spurtitaya Arunachala Shivaha Purno Vibhati Swayam Soham Spurtitaya Arunachala Shivaha Purno Vibhati Swayam. Namo Ramana. In this, the Thursday Satsang from Ramanacentre for Learning, it has been our practice to select two verses from the work Guruvachika Kovai by Muruganar Swamigal. Each verse is read and the verse reading is followed by a short meditation on its meaning, and that is followed by the practice of Atma Vicharam for 15 minutes. After the completion of these two segments of verse reading, meditation on meaning, and practice of self-enquiry, we will have summing up remarks by Venkatesh Deshpandeji, and that will be followed by the offering of Sri Ramana Ashtotram. The chanting will be by Vaibhavji and Pratnama online, and we will be continuing our self-enquiry with the support of listening by inquiring who is the listener. With Bhagavan's immense grace, we begin the satsang by taking the first verse selected for us randomly by Revati ji, verse number 212. This verse we find in the segment Investigation into Truth. The other two segments are meditation on the truth and experience of the truth. That is in tune with Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana, or Viveka, Vichara, and Anubhava, which is the normal way in which the Jnana Marga is pursued. This verse 212 we find in Investigation into Truth under the subsegment Vibhuti, within brackets, sacred ashes. Vibhuti or sacred ashes, verse 212. Those who worship with devotion the reality that is Vibhuti will themselves mature into Vibhuti. Those who worship with devotion the reality which is Vibhuti will themselves mature into Vibhuti. Vibhuti is only Atma Swarupa consciousness in which the ego has died. Vibhuti is only the Atma Swarupa consciousness in which the ego has died. Where that Vibhuti, by loving Atma Swarupa and abiding as that. There is this chapter called Vibhuti Yoga in the Gita, in which Sri Krishna begins by saying that he is the self, and the self is the real Vibhuti. His nature as the self is the real Vibhuti. Only those who cannot directly meditate on the self, they can take up any one of his other Vibhutis. He goes ahead and gives us his vastness, his vastness as time, his vastness as a special month, his vastness as a special guna, his vastness as a special chandas. All these are given by him as the objects of meditation, but only when someone cannot worship him as the Atma Swarupa, as the self of all. That is why here it is said that the real Vibhuti, those who worship with devotion, the reality that is Vibhuti, will themselves mature into that Vibhuti. What is it that we will be doing when we are doing self-enquiry? When a thought comes, it may be a simple thought like a personal problem we have. We will ask, for whom is this problem? This problem is for me. Who am I? We understand that the Atman filling up that problem thought and the Atman filling up the I thought, which had separated itself into the I and the problem, the seer and the seen. This is the division in consciousness, division in Vibhuti that has happened. The consciousness that is limitless is Vibhuti. When the consciousness divides itself as me and my personal problem, and when I inquire for whom is this problem, then I undergo and stand as the substrate of both the problem and the ego, because both are happening in me only. Both are for me. For whom is this problem? For me, who am I? I go as the substrate or the substance of which the problem and the I are made. As we proceed in this manner, then is my problem separate from the problem of, let us say, my close friend, Mr. Kumar? Now, when Kumar's thoughts comes, Kumar had birthday on 15th August. But when his thought comes, what I have to do in this Vibhuti Yoga is the consciousness divided as me and Kumar. Obviously, that dilutes the Vibhuti. So what I will do, when I ask for whom is this thought that I should wish happy birthday to Kumar, it will come as to me. When I go and hold the who am I hold the I that is common, underlying both Kumar and myself. Then I see a person in deep psychological trouble say that this whole world is ganged up against me. The whole society is ganged up against me. I understand that thought is happening in me now. When I think of that person, that thought is happening in me. I have divided as the whole society is ganged up against me. But where is this division happening? This division is happening in the consciousness within. So I ask, for whom is this thought? See the beauty of it. Even the person in psychological problem has integrated the whole society as one. But then she has separated, or he has separated herself or himself from that, and that vibhuti is broken. The consciousness is broken. So it can be one friend, or it can be the whole of the other beings. For whom is this thought? About 7 billion people ganging up against me. It is for me. When I hold who am I mature into that I, which is the common substrate of Nandakumar and the 7 billion people. There is no Nandakumar now. There is only that Vibhuti, which is underlying the Nandakumar thought and the rest of the 7 billion thought. There is this thought of time or space. When I meditate on Ulladu Narpadu, I get that time and space are divisions in the Vibhuti present within. So for whom is this thought about time or space? Namandri, Nadedu, Nadedu. I go to the underlying I. Underlying I, which is division free, which consciousness doesn't divide as I am the seer, I am seeing time and space. I am the seer, I am seeing fate and free will. No, I am the seer, I am having darshan of God. Who is the seer? God's I and my I, they are both the one I in the undivided substrate. That is why it is said, when the self of Ishvara and the self of the Jiva have no Satsvabhava division, the Satsvabhava is Ekam, then the Vibhuti Yoga is complete. The division between Jiva and Parama vanishes, and the one self alone remains. That's why it said, you mature into that Swarupa. That is what we are going to practice. The Vibhuti Yoga is what is practiced in Atma Vicharam. For the next 15 minutes, let's sit in Atma Vicharam, where the division will arise as thought. Only thing we have to do is ask, for whom is this thought? For me. Who am I? Go to the underlying substratic I. For 15 minutes, let us sit in Atma Vicharam.
नमो भगवते श्रीरमणाय।
Namo Ramana. We continue by taking up the next verse selected for us, 845, verse 845. There is a small correction in the proceedings that we'll be having summing up remarks by Dileep ji today. Verse 845. This is in the segment Meditation on the Truth. Verse 845. Under the subsegment, the collective mind, the destruction of the ego. 845, the destruction of the ego. Dig out and throw away the tuber root, the body ego, with the pointed tip of the sword of grace, the mauna that arises in the heart by continuous jnana vichara. This is the means by which the bliss of peace overflows and envelops you. Dig out and throw away the tuber root, the body ego, with the pointed tip of the sword of grace, the mauna that arises in the heart by continuous jnana vichara. Santatam salipara, be still. With bhava bala, hold the eye. Be nameless and formless. When you are nameless and formless, with bhava bala, everything becomes nameless and formless. The world and Ishvara, urvam tanayin ulagu paramatram. Only so far as you have a name and form, your problem has a name and form. When you still your name and form, in for whom is this problem? The problem is destroyed. You have gone to a state where the problem does not exist. You have made it Nama Rupa Rahita. What is Nama Rupa Rahita? It is only Atma Swarupa. Only self is there. So by this direct act of stilling the eye with Bhava Bala only, and make it continuous Jnana Vichara, make it Santatam. What happens is that the tuber root, the ego, the body is I thought, it is uprooted. Now if you take the whole circle as the mind, the center is the ego and all the contents of that circle exist only because this center exists. If you go to the center and uproot it, then there is no center or periphery. There is only the consciousness without limits. The limit as center and periphery is there only because the center is there. If you uproot the center, the periphery collapses automatically. The last sentence, this is the means by which the bliss of peace overflows and envelops you, is annihilates you. That the ego is annihilated and you identify with the Vibhuti. In the Vibhuti Yoga in chapter 10, the identification with the self is the real Vibhuti. And for that, the sadhana is destroy the ego, the center, by continuously holding the who am I. You reduce the whole circle, periphery, everything to nameless and formless with Bhava Bala. And once the vasanas are all crossed or annihilated, then there is only bliss. There is only Ananda. There is only Satchitta. So that it envelops and consumes you is also a description of the process that you are literally eaten alive. In fact, that process is also absorbed in the limitless self. You are the Swarupa. There is no tuber root to be consumed. But what is the key part there? The key part there is go to your own nameless and formless nature by asking. It may be a simple problem. It may be an enquiry about Vidhi Madhi. You have to do, for whom is this thought? Who am I? Hold the I. When you are yourself nameless and formless, then the person in front of you, the entire world, and Ishvara all become nameless and formless. That is the sadhana we are going to practice for the next 15 minutes. Abdulji will trouble you again. Namo Ramana.
Sri Ramanaya.
Namo Ramana. May I request Dileep ji to give us the summing up remarks. Namo Ramana, sir.
Namo Ramana, sir. So these two beautiful verses are making it clear that the Gnana Vichara that Bhagavan has blessed us, it is going to take us from the Ajnana Vichara to the Gnana, which is the Vibhuti, as Nandakumar ji beautifully put it. And how does it do? It removes, it uproots the Ajnana, the ego, which alone is the root cause for us to see something as Ajnana, while actually what is only the Gnana or the Vibhuti. In the Bhagavad Gita too, Krishna says in the Vibhuti Yoga, in the sense he is talking about the whole manifestation in that yoga, everything is only that he himself, the God himself, Vibhu alone is the God, the Supreme. But what stops us from, or what doesn't enable us to see that it is only Vibhu, which is everything, is this ego, the root, the I am the body idea. This limitation brings about an imaginary division. This limiting of the unlimited creates the ideas of division. And then the whole drama gets played out. So Bhagavan calls it as the Gnana Vichara. So when the attention is moving towards thought, towards division, towards limitation, by putting the Vichara, he makes us turn to the Gnana, which alone is. And therefore, the Gnana Vichara is the continuous Vichara of, or the way to see the true Vibhuti, which alone is. So Vibhu alone, the Supreme alone is. To make us see that, Bhagavan has given us this Atma Vichara. In these two verses, it has been very beautifully brought out to us that why the Gnana Vichara is the direct path, because by the very act of inquiring, our attention is turned from the limited to the unlimited, to the imaginary, to the real, the Vibhuti, which alone is. So, and incidentally, and nowadays when I give bath to my father in the morning, and then after that he puts on this Vibhuti. And then one day morning I asked him this question, why do we put this Vibhuti? He asked, I don't know. He said, I don't know. Then I said, Nachurana says that ultimately when this body burns, it becomes this ash only. So to remind ourselves, that means this idea, the I am the body idea, when it is truly burnt, what we experience is only Vibhuti, the truth. So that is why even in the practice, in the sacred ash is given to us when we go to the temple, says Nachurana. So this has been very beautifully brought out, and Nandakumar ji emphasized very clearly that what is not enabling us to see the true Vibhuti, which alone is the imaginary ego, which is the center now. And that only can be eliminated by inquiring whether the ego is real. Who am I? By inquiring that, who am I? Then the ego, which is not real, which is a phantom entity, which is an imaginary limitation, when we trace it to the root, here and now, we see that the Vibhuti alone is We experience the Vibhuti alone, and that is the direct path, says Bhagavan. It was very beautifully brought out to us in these two verses. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya.
Namo Ramana sir. Namo Ramana Vaibhavji and Pratnama. May we begin the chanting of Ramana Ashtotram. Namo Ramana.
Yes, sir. Namo Ramana. भारद्वाज विश्वनाथ विरचितम् श्रीरमणाष्टोत्तर शतनामावलिः अपार सच्चित् सुखवारिराशे यस्योर्विमात्रम् भुवनं समस्तम् गुहाहितं तं रमणं गभीरं चिन्ताविहीनं हृदि चिन्तयामि ॐ महासेन महंसेन जाताय नमः ॐ श्रीरमणाय नमः ॐ गुरवे नमः ॐ अखण्डसंविदाकाराय नमः ॐ महोजसे नमः ॐ कारणोद्भवाय नमः ॐ जगद्धितावताराय नमः ॐ श्रीभूमिनाथस्थलोस्थिताय नमः ॐ पराशरकुलोत्तंसाय नमः ॐ सुन्दरार्यतपःफलाय नमः ॐ कमनीयसुचारित्राय नमः ॐ सहायाम्बा सहायवते नमः ॐ शोणाचलमहोलीनमानसाय नमः ॐ स्वर्णहस्तकाय नमः ॐ श्रीमद्द्वादशान्तमहास्थले लब्धविद्योदयाय नमः ॐ महाशक्तिनिपातेन प्रबुद्धाय नमः ॐ परमार्थविदे नमः ॐ तीव्राय नमः ॐ पितृपदान्वेषिणे नमः ॐ इन्दुमौलिना पितृमते नमः ॐ पितुरादेशतः शोणशैलं प्राप्ताय नमः ॐ तपोमयाय नमः ॐ उदासीनाय नमः ॐ महायोगिने नमः ॐ महोत्साहाय नमः ॐ कुशाग्रदिये नमः ॐ शान्तसङ्कल्पसंरम्भाय नमः ॐ सुसन्दृशे नमः ॐ सवित्रे नमः ॐ स्थिराय नमः ॐ तपक्षपितसर्वाङ्गाय नमः ॐ पुल्लाम्बुजविलोचनाय नमः ॐ चन्द्रिकासितहासश्रीमण्डिताननमण्डलाय नमः ॐ चूतवाट्यां समासीनाय नमः ॐ चूर्णिताखिलविभ्रमाय नमः ॐ वेदवेदान्ततत्त्वज्ञाय नमः ॐ चिन्मुद्रिणे नमः ॐ त्रिगुणातिगाय नमः ॐ विरूपाक्षगुहावासाय नमः ॐ विराजदशलाकृतये नमः ॐ उद्दीप्तनयनाय नमः ॐ पूर्णाय नमः ॐ रचिताचलताण्डवाय नमः ॐ गम्भीराय नमः ॐ परमाचार्याय नमः ॐ सुप्रसन्नाय नमः ॐ अभयप्रदाय नमः ॐ दक्षिणास्यनिभाय नमः ॐ धीराय नमः ॐ दक्षिणाभिमुखाय नमः ॐ स्वराजे नमः ॐ महर्षये नमः ॐ भगवते नमः ॐ ईड्याय नमः ॐ भूमविद्याविशारदाय नमः ॐ विमलाय नमः ॐ दीर्घदर्शिने नमः ॐ आप्ताय नमः ॐ ऋजुमार्गप्रदर्शकाय नमः ॐ समदृशे नमः ॐ सत्यदृशे नमः ॐ सत्याय नमः ॐ प्रशान्ताय नमः ॐ अमितविक्रमाय नमः ॐ सुकुमाराय नमः ॐ सदानन्दाय नमः ॐ मृदुभाषिणे नमः ॐ दयार्णवाय नमः ॐ श्रीशोणाचलहृद्भूतस्कन्दाश्रमनिकेतनाय नमः ॐ सद्दर्शनोपदेष्ट्रे नमः ॐ सद्भक्तवृन्दपरिवृताय नमः ॐ गणेशमुनिभृङ्गेन सेविताङ्घ्रिसरोरुहाय नमः। ॐ गीतोपदेशसारादिग्रन्थसञ्चिन्न संशयाय नमः। ॐ वर्णाश्रममतातीताय नमः। ॐ रसज्ञाय नमः। ॐ सौम्याय नमः। ॐ आत्मवते नमः। ॐ सर्वावनिमतस्थानाम् आराध्याय नमः। ॐ सर्वसद्गुणिने नमः। ॐ आत्मारामाय नमः। ॐ महाभागाय नमः। ॐ मातृमुक्तिविधायकाय नमः। ॐ विनताय नमः। ॐ विनुताय नमः। ॐ विप्राय नमः। ॐ मुनीन्द्राय नमः। ॐ पावकोज्ज्वलाय नमः। ॐ दर्शनादगसंहारिणे नमः। ॐ मौनेन स्वात्मबोधकाय नमः। ॐ ऋक्शान्तिकरसान्निध्याय नमः। ॐ स्मरणाद्बन्धमोचकाय नमः। ॐ अन्तस्तिमिरचण्डांशवे नमः। ॐ संसारार्णवतारकाय नमः। ॐ षोडादृशस्तुतिद्रष्टे नमः। ॐ हार्दविद्याप्रकाशकाय नमः। ॐ अविच्युतनिजप्रज्ञाय नमः। ॐ नैसर्गिकमहातपसे नमः। ॐ कमण्डलुधराय नमः। ॐ शुभ्रकौपीनवसनाय नमः। ॐ गुहाय नमः। ॐ दण्डपाणये नमः। ॐ कृपापूर्णाय नमः। ॐ भवरोगविषग्वराय नमः। ॐ स्कन्दाय नमः। ॐ देवतमाय नमः। ॐ अमर्त्याय नमः। ॐ सेमः। ॐ पुरुषोत्तमाय नमः। ॐ श्रीरमण भगवते नमः। श्रीरमणाष्टोत्तरशतनाम पूजां समर्पयामि। यस्थानोररुणाचलस्य पदयोः वित्याजनिं प्राप्यत दिव्यानुग्रहसुप्रवाह विवशस्तादात्मभावं गतः विनिष्टस्वगभीरनित्यतपसा लोकान् पुनासेकरात् तस्मै श्रीरमणाय ते नमः इदं लोकोत्तरज्योतिषे। ॐ नमो भगवते श्रीरमणाय।
नमो रमणा, नमो रमणा वैभव जी प्रार्थना, नमो रमणा दिलीप जी, नमो रमणा रेवती, नमो रमणा उज्जवल जी, नमो रमणा
More
to all.